to my humble little office. My name is R. Keith Andrews. I'm a spiritual guide and paranormal adept. Welcome to a day in the office. This is March 28th, 2026 at approximately 2:50 p.m. PST. Amazingly, I'm a little ahead of time today, but I can work with it. Now, as most of you already know, I do not plan things for this particular stream, because literally all I'm doing is putting my office together so that it works. But you'll notice over here, this shelf is now clear. This is actually a step in the right direction. We're not done by any means. But I've still got a lot of work to do to get everything where it belongs. And those are that and can go up there. Thing is, I do not believe in wasting stuff if I can avoid it. So, I got scrap paper to make notes on. Even when I'm working on something, I still end up with scrap paper I'm going through. That I'm going to need later. What is this? Oh, information for the game. This is stuff for my hobby. So let's see what we got here. Okay, I'm going to keep an eye on here, but if I don't respond right away, it's because I've only got one monitor and sometimes end up working on the computer itself. So all that goes there. Got to find that. Okay, that's all in place. So, we go back to here. We go the office, that. This particular coffee cup, I don't have coffee in, but I do desire to make sure it gets out of the building. So I put it right here. The drawers I'll probably take a look at today. But I got two other major tasks to take care of right above me here. So, with that in mind, let's see, I'm sitting there. Oh, I did mean to check that. So let's go check that. Now, I should still only be at 728, which is an extremely slow growth compared to some of what I've seen. But we'll see. So let's just take a look at where we're sitting. And there we go. We're still sitting at 728, which I can work with. Because like I said, this is more about keeping myself on track than it is about anything else. Oh, there we are. Christine, how you doing? Glad you could join us. I just happened to get things started a little early today. So that worked out. It's a nice change from what I usually have. Let's close that. This particular door I don't require open. So that's out of the way now. The thing is, I work when I can, or when it comes to light. Now, I put it down over there. There we go. The neat part about it is as I get things organized, it becomes that much easier to take a lot to think. And you'll find the same thing as you get things organized. Now, where am I here? We are currently, there we are, only 4 minutes in. I always run until 5. It gives me a definite spot to close things down. But that doesn't mean I don't do things while I'm working. So, I do tend to keep, that is, what is that? Oh, that's why that was. Okay. This particular sheet gets copied to disk. That's going to take a bit. this is, let's see. What I'm looking at here is my folder that's got the information for my character in it, and for my character for Thursday in it. And it's not complete. So as to be able to get rid of that, we put that there. Now we just copy this information down. So I actually put a name down for me. Sure hope so. Yep. Torque. Okay. Armor, leather. What's that? Oh, buckler. I am literally just copying information, so it's all in the book. Which really means I don't have to think too much. But this is just one of those aspects that crosses over. Bow short. Net. There you go. Quiver. Sling bow. See, as soon as I get this sheet copied, I will throw it in the garbage. Okay, that's always handy. You know, the funny thing is, as I get things cleared up, my brain starts working faster, and I have trouble keeping up with it. The real thing that I had to do was decide: am I going to keep playing at success, or start actually making it work? 91, 96, 166. Silver. Gold, I've got 8011. Didn't bring those up, so that's okay. Platinum, I've got 38. Jewels, we have 20,000, 55 and 50. Okay, now XP is 130 is 50. 2650, 2850. I think it did that already, didn't I? Just double checking. Yeah, I'm muttering to myself. Working on projects I usually do. Whoops. There we go. That's better. Now, the nice part is I am getting things sorted around. And we go heading for Tanner, thing from Tanner the jeweler. This is just a little note for the D&D game I'm playing right now. That I play on Thursdays. Where, pray tell, did I just write those down? Right there. Oops. Screwed that up royally. Oh well, can't do much with it at this point, because I'm not taking the time to rewrite that. So this sheet can go there. It ends up going back up front. This one, on the other hand, I took care of that. What have we got? I got a second person. Oh, had one popped in. Yeah, I'm not the most exciting individual on the planet. Probably one of the least exciting. But, see if I've got one here. I don't even know I had this, so I'm going to post that on the side. Should get a folder for that. So let's go back to here. And now we go through this stuff and eliminate what we can. Because these are file folders. And that's why I'm going to have to stand up, because my file folder itself ain't working. There we go. Need that out of the way. So, again, you always take a look at what you can work with, and file it properly right away. That way, you don't have the hiccup of too much junk lying around. Not worrying about that. So that goes there. All I'm doing is I'm looking at these sheets I had open before. See if there's anything here I need to worry about. No. What's that? Okay. As you can tell, this is just a question of making certain that I don't waste a whole lot of paper that I don't have to. Whoop. Didn't see that come in. So let me sit down so I can actually read it. Christine. Oh, gee, I'm glad they're helping. Yeah, I really am glad they're helping. And, for those of you that are listening, Christine is just letting us know. I like these in-office videos because I also started organizing with this on in the background. I'm in the process of purchasing a quality paper shredder. Yeah, woohoo! I have a lot to shred now. I will tell you, I've got one. I don't know if I've got a high quality one. I actually got the least expensive I could get away with because my opinion was simple. It doesn't have to do a phenomenal job. It does cross, like the one I've got does cross shred. What, pray tell, was this? Best Buy. When did I pick it up? I think I get rid of this. This is one of those things I really don't care, considering it's 6 years old. Gives you an idea of how much paperwork I've kept. The reality is that when you take a look at it, when you look at shredding, people that want it already have it. There's no point in giving them the extra. Like I never turn paperwork loose that has a bank account, a number, that kind of legal identifier aside from my signature. And let's face it, that's all over the place. Did I make any savings on this one? I don't know if I did or not, which is what I'm looking for. It's got points, but no savings. Oh, wait a minute, it does so. $12.50. So, with the grocery store I go to, they tell me how much money I've saved. So when I do that, I go to here. That was done on the what date? March 26th. March 26th, we saved $12.50. The fact is, if your grocery bill says you saved X dollars, if you don't move it into savings, you haven't saved a plug nickel. You just simply moved it somewhere. So I make a point of it. And right now, I'm in the process of rebuilding my savings account because I had to deplete it just to stay alive. I did that a year ago, and I'm finally at a point where I can actually put things together and start getting ahead. Now, this one was from this one, I wonder if that was there. September 2025. Let's take a look. Because I know that's still listed here because of where it fit. September what year? Well, what date? September 19th. Oh, that second one there. So, this one, we insert. And we go, what's that amount? 1871. See, I'm a bit OCD possibly where it comes to actually getting ahead financially speaking. So what I figured out was if you actually pay attention to what money is coming in that should have been saved, you end up being able to put it aside. So this money that should have been saved will be turned into, it will be put aside once it gets paid into a GIC. And you know, I look at it here, where am I? Right there. I look over the last, ever since, what was it? May of last year. Okay, I've been tracking the money I should have been saving. I've got over $1,000 I'm aiming at putting back into savings. What is this? Okay. This one gets tossed. And there we go. Now, don't need to worry about that. So I've got a stack of stuff behind me here that I'm just literally getting ready to take into out to recycling when I get done. Now, what is this? What is this all about? Oh yes. This was articles, and I should really can take that one and copy it down. So this goes in stuff to be moved after I get off the air. And let's see, just keep my eyeballs on things. Because I do try and keep an eye on it in case people do come in. Right now, we've got 2 in the room. And since I'm not, I'm in here, but it doesn't count me. I don't think, anyway. Now, that goes up front to a folder there. This is handier than heck. Well, more to the point, these are formulae that most people have forgotten. Hang on to that to go through it afterwards. And that goes. As you can see, I don't actually, at this point, I'm not hanging on to a whole pile of stuff. Bear in mind, I used to be a professional pack rat, as in I throw out nothing, as evidenced by the fact that I've got paperwork that was written. What is that? Yeah, I've got paperwork that dates back sometimes 10 years. And I finally reached the point where I'm not doing that anymore. Because I have found that hanging on to that amount of paperwork, well, I wasn't going back through it anyway. So now I'm just looking at it going, why keep hanging on to it? All it's essentially doing is well, I gotta go back through that. Yep. Yeah, it's funny, Christine. You know, you never get around to removing it, and then finally you figure it out, and you go, "Do I really require this?" So one of the things about becoming successful is literally taking a look at it and going, "Where am I heading? You know, how am I dealing with this?" Like, get this. And I don't think I need this anymore. How long ago was this from? Air Canada, well, I don't generally follow them, I fly by them. And you can tell this one's old because, well, frankly, I can't read it anymore. What is this? Don't need that. Can't read it, so definitely don't need it. Oh! I will be right. Nope, I won't. I don't know why I have this, but it's not mine. So that I don't throw out. Good thing I didn't shred any of it, because it's not mine. That goes over there. Now, try this again. Okay, that file, I think I just dumped everything out of it. Yep. This file I do keep for the moment, because this one is my current wedding. Kind of an important little keepsake in a lot of ways, at least until I verify with my wife as to whether she desires to hang on to it. So for the moment, we're just going to file it under wedding and be done with it. That puts it in this drawer. So, okay. W, right there. Like I said, this really boils down to, if I'm going to become successful, number one, I had to figure out what that meant. And number two, what is this? Calculation, I have no idea what it meant at this point. So I'm starting that over anyway. Where are we? You know, the neat part is by going through this, I get to take a quick look at the old files that may not have any functional bearing. So, what is this? Oh, there we go. Okay. Take a look at this and go through it. Because again, I've got to eliminate a lot of stuff. Susan, how you doing? Glad you could join us. You know, the reality is I got into the office a little earlier today than I was planning on. So I'm going to be here for a bit. But this is just literally going through old files that I no longer require. But I cannot keep my glasses on while I do that because, well, can't read them anyway. With my glasses, I mean. Okay, I know what this all was. But I need a date. There we are. Now, this paperwork I'm using that I've got here, in all fairness, I'm going to be looking at it, seeing if it has anything important. That which does have something important, if I don't need to keep it, I will shred it. Okay, that whole file is posted. One thing I would suggest, if you're getting rid of paperwork, receipts that you bought a credit card when bought on credit card, that you bought some from buying something with a credit card, shred the receipts. Letters like this that I'm working with are only written on one side, making them perfect scratch paper. Bank statements, they've got important information. Shred them. At the very least, tear them into tiny little pieces. Because what you're doing ultimately is protecting yourself. Because there's a lot of geniuses out there that will not hesitate to take advantage of a little bit of loose paper you've left around. Now, look, I'm already half an hour and things are going nicely. It's amazing how many empty files I've had here. Where's this one from? Mitsubishi rebate from oh, okay. Well, that's from ages back, so I don't need it. I don't require it. But I am clipping through these so nicely. And again, that's shreddable. I am this year starting to get things sorted out. Well, I've got them sorted out in a lot of ways. But now what I'm doing is going, okay, let's track things properly. This is, that's a good one. Bills from 2024. Think we can safely say those are toast. See how quick that works? Now, rental agreements, this I keep anyway. So these are ones from back, and that's 2024. That file, I keep that one simply because, along with my insurance, I'm a firm believer keeping hold of that stuff is kind of necessary. I would be going through files one at a time as well, but for the moment, I'm just clearing the ones off the desk that I've got. And what is this from? Auto insurance. What do we got? Auto. It goes in there. Again, auto, life insurance, rent. I keep the backdated stuff on that just on principle. These are Atom projects. So, There we go. These are files that like, I'm going to go back in, and one of my projects to get back to is my ancestry. Finding out my family tree. Because that's going to be a challenge and a half, but it is one I do desire to finish. Or more to the point, enhance for my kids. So I'll get to that as I go along. Now, but those files should have stayed filed. They were just lost. Why that auto is target for auto, but after ancestry. And again, like I file everything alphabetically, but inside the individual files will be a LIFO. Will be a FIFO rather. First in, first out. That simply means when I take a file, when I take paperwork I'm filing, if it's newer stuff, I put it at the back of the file. That way I can keep on top of it. And I know that the further back I go, that's what I'm getting. Now this stuff here, that's information that's got to be moved over. So before I get sorting the paperwork, let's deal with that, shall we? And we go into this, what do we got here? Do I have that? Not necessarily. Let's add one. And we will call this file here. There we are. Okay. Let's just double check, make sure nobody's there. Nope, not yet. So, what do we got here? Uh, 625.78. She's already looking into that. And this page, that was copied over already. So it's garbage. Now we go back to here. Now, this. But that gets copied because that's a recipe. I just don't feel like spending that much time on the Excel sheet right now. That is another recipe. Boy, I made a short work of that, didn't I? Okay. Articles that have to be filed, these go under literally articles. But I desire to see which ones I've actually sorted out. Those are recipes, those are articles. And yeah, sometimes it boils down to reorganizing things. This side, for instance, I don't have to worry about it. That is a journal entry, so it gets stored in the journal file. Let's see if this other one is... Nope. That doesn't matter anymore. There we go. This one here is gaming information. Gaming information. Hope I've got all that. Let's take a look at it, shall we? That, let's see. That should have, where am I here? Callie. Okay, what did I do here? I don't have a date on that. Oh. Now we have here, that is, I know what that is now. So this stuff is gaming, it goes up front to the gaming file. This, forgot, I hate this, I make notes and forget to put a date on them, which does not make the notes much use. So we go and mark down what we can of it. We go now. That paid in full, we bring all that back to tally. Whoops. Computer's not exactly we're cooperating. But there we go. Now, this part. Okay, that is number. Okay, let's get those on the list there. And see what we got here. Okay. The funny part about I monitor myself a lot while I'm working, but no, in fairness, if you guys weren't here or if I wasn't live, I wouldn't actually talk to myself quite so much at this point. But I do my best to keep an eye on what's going on. Now, that's what I needed. When did I do that, though? I don't remember. Okay, so when that was Monday. So See, much as I'm no longer worried about my weight, I am still tracking where it is. So today is the 28th. Let me go back to Monday, which was the 23rd. And that was March 23rd. There we are. 176.8. Okay, so tomorrow I'll check that again. Just because what I'm doing is making certain that my health stays on top of things. Yeah, there we are. This should all be scrap paper. It is. Yep. Whoop. Nope, that's not entirely correct. This stack here is just standard paper. It's already lined, but it's what I use for writing, not for note taking. Whoops, did that wrong. Go, paper. And there we are. So that eliminates that problem. Now, that's a clipboard for note taking. This one is also for note taking, but that's the one I take with me. So, pop that up. And these little file folders, these little booklets I put back here. They go onto this clipboard because it goes with me. Notice that? The gaming one, though? Oh, that's my list from today. So let's use that. Okay. Since I've got that one, we'll pop that one here. I think this still has the current gaming character from Thursday. It'd be nice if my hand worked. What do you think? Yeah. So that one can sit here. So now I've got projects there. Row seconds. Leave your imagination meet the particulars. One-box update. Again, these are things. Now, the one-box, also known as word-of-mouth advertising, is a rather intriguing little endeavor. And that is, I figured out how to track, like if you think about it, and I don't know if you'll be aware of this, but if you think about it, what is the number one method of advertising that exists on the planet today? Never mind 50 years ago. It is still, bar none, the number one method of advertising. Okay, track Tanya and Dirk. Oh, and we do have to do that. Okay. that done, that can go that way. The number one method, if you're not aware, is still, bar none, word of mouth advertising. And because of that, okay, the thing is, most companies they don't know how to track it, or they can't be bothered, one of the two. Okay, maybe it's just too cumbersome at a point. I haven't gotten that far. And again, I've got a sheet here that I don't have the information on. It will have to be gone through and what's out. That is a journal entry. And being a journal entry, it goes up here. Okay. That took care of that. Now that's the clipboard I work with. I don't have a place to put it right now, so that's okay. That goes there. I'm going to step out of the office long enough to get rid of this paperwork. No, this strap. Those have to go up front. I was thinking of not doing this, but I figured, what the heck. We'll take a moment out and walk out of the office, because you don't have to have me here, babysitting you, as it were. Those can all go. Those go up front to gaming. Check with that. And I will be right back. Okay, now, as you can see, because this is my office, it's my office come bedroom, I still try and keep it clear. So right now it is. That's why all that stuff was removed. Now that is a sheet that normally fits on there. But since that binder is being used at this point, so what am I looking at here? Still have 3 in here, which is really nice. But the reality is, I take a look at what I'm doing here and go, much as I'm doing my best to keep things moving, you know, much as I'm doing my best to be functional, the real purpose here is making certain that I have my stuff in order. Because I cannot function, and this has been proven time and again for me. I cannot function if my office is a mess. So, don't know what I'm going to do with that yet. It's going to have to sit here for a moment. There's notes over here I've got to deal with and articles I've started writing. But the reality is, sometimes you just don't have time to organize it. You know, I really got to quit doing that. So, what this is a binder I use for all my gaming. You know, for characters and what have you, but I've got characters in here that I haven't got organized, and I best get organized because I got a game tomorrow. This is, you know, sometimes if you're running your own business, sometimes things get crossed over, and you've got business and home stuff going on at the same time. So I look at this. Now, what is that? I don't think I've got anything here. Nope. Or if I did have any material, it got lost in the wayside. Nope, that's stuff I've got. Okay. Hopefully I didn't lose a sheet, but I may have. As it turns out, that character is stable. Now, these two booklets are simply information. Well, they're actually essentially blank. That becomes garbage. Then we go to this one. And that is my Shadowrun character. That, I think, is what we're working on tomorrow. Yep, that is. And what is this one? That may well be Tortoise. That probably is one. Does it tell me anything? Sorcerer Druid sign. Let's see what he is. He is. Gotta go to experience. Sorcerer. Yep, that's the stuff I was missing, or that I thought I was missing. 27. It is so. Okay, that's a good thing. I'll take a look at that a little later. So, now that I've got that all done, what's the back of that? Whoops. Don't need that. Backup characters. Okay. This folder can go back up front unimpeded. My game tomorrow is set. This is a good thing. Whoop. Curiosity. I actually write down on the list of what we were doing. Oh, there we are. So yeah, character I thought I had to sort out, I didn't. Because it was already set up. Now, here's the other thing. I've got all this on the go, which is important. But I've had files up on top here forever. But they're written files, as in handwritten. So what I've got to do is get them out of the way. And I require a file in here. All the way to the back. And we take the new file folder. New file folder, and we have old characters. There we are. Now, because they're old gaming characters, I can go up here. This, Arkakari. This was a D&D character that literally stole a city. We take this. That's writing material, writing notes from the Eldervakian Chronicles. Those are articles I gotta look at. This one. That was no file. I've got to see if I've got it. So again, it's stuff to get sorted through. What is this? And should read that just to be able to go through it and say that's what I work with. Now this. What I'm doing here, because I've got so much in the way of files up here, I'm taking a look at it and going, what can I move into a different field? Like this character, that's a new file there. This is Shadowhammer. This was a character that is actually being written into the story, into the Eldervakian Chronicles. Primarily because he was a little bit, shall we say, unique. Most of the time I end up with a character that works out kind of on the unique side. I end up taking a look at it going, what did I do with it? Now this is all okay. These files, I know where they're going. The whole 9 yards of them are coming off the top deck. That's not working well, is it? Keep having to run in. I keep running into my table by my chair behind me. So if we go here, take all of those files and pop them in here in the top file. See, my top filing drawer is for the writings for the Elder Bachman Chronicles. But the reality is that I haven't put a lot of it out of the way, which I really should have. So now I'm just going to move it down there because I'm going to have to go through it all one step at a time as I go in order to make sure that I don't have any more of this excess clutter. Because until you get it organized, sometimes it boils down to looking like a real disaster. Sometimes it boils down to organizing. Don't know what that is, so that goes on that file. This, on the other hand, gotta look at that. Testimonials. Whoop. Okay, clearly that's going to be a pain in the neck with only one hand. So this take a look at those in a moment. Does this show me Pangea? Going to have to take a look at that. Okay. These are all notes and what have you from the early writings. So we take these and see what we got. That would be Thunder Pies. Kind of necessary to hang on to. These ones, not those. This is all paperwork. It belongs in the Elder Bachman Chronicles. So, back in here. And again, it really boils down to making certain that I'm just getting the stuff off my top desk. Who is this? Gaming characters. That's what I should have done with that other sheet. But what is this one? Like, I've just got reams of paper here from writing. What's that? Institute. Okay, we know that that's all from there. As is that. So, we'll go through and transfer that afterwards. But for the moment, it literally boils down to looking at it going, okay, where am I standing? And what did I do with it? So that all goes there. These files here are clearly from the early works of Ilderbach. So what I'm doing is getting them off my desk. And again, I'm still containing them, so I still know exactly where they are. They're still organized. But in this fashion, I know full well where they are. That's kind of an important factor. What's this? Okay. Because those are all files all paperwork. Now it's off my desktop. Now these are characters. So where did I put? I already put them in. Okay. Okay. We take this. The nice part here is now the top of my filing cabinet is empty. Kind of an important factor. That's old characters, and pop that down into O just because they got too much top anyway. So come down here. Oh, there we are. And now I can't show you this, but the top of my filing cabinet is actually clear. What are these? Testimonials, they go up here under T. Those are the files I set down because I wasn't 100% certain what they were. Now I know what they are. So now I can move them where they've got to go. Songs go under S. Whoop. That shouldn't be under that. Should be push that back. T. There. Oh, me. What, pray tell, is that? I don't know offhand. Because it ain't filed right. But testimonials goes under T. S. Takes care of songs. And yes, I've got some songs read that I've written. But understand, the songs I've written are seldom in English, much less any other Terran language. So, we are looking at, there we are. Philip, how you doing? I did not see you come in, or maybe I did. Nope, you just got here. Yeah, right now, I'm going through files and what have you, like paperwork, so I can file it and get it out of my way. So the office is actually truly organized. Now, thus far, that's all gone reasonably well. What am I looking at? Okay, I should get to those, but first and foremost, let's make sure I've got all this organized. Now, this, whoop, that gets flipped in there and we're good. Now I can get by it. Now I've still got those, but I've got to get them filed so I don't have stuff on my desk that isn't actually active. And that ultimately is the goal here. Now I think I've got a file up here called articles. Yep, I do. Remember those articles I said I had to go through? They're right here. And they are now in the file they belong in. And these are other ones. Okay, that worked out rather nicely. Advertising articles. See, now what I've got here is the articles I require. Now that clears that desk off. That sets my one box up properly because it's what I've got to work on to make advertising work. Now, do I have under BC clients, printmaster, contracts? Those are all being organized, as it were. And I mean, let's see if that's where I put it. I am missing a file folder that I would love to have, but I have no idea where it went. So we are going to rebuild. Now this one here, what the hell is that? Okay. Move that back. Holiday, something like that. What is it under C? I don't know what I did with the file. That's what I'm looking for. And it is a royal pain in the neck. Okay. This should have a place called photos. It won't be there. It'll be here. Yep. There we go. Now, that one goes to my reading file, which is over there. Okay, so that works out well. Put those down before I make myself dizzy. Okay. There we go. Cleared. That's all cleared. You know, I am quite content with this. Now, don't know if you can tell from your end. It's questionable at best. But I will tell you from my end, this is looking a lot better. So let's just see if I missed anything in the email or that sort of thing. I do my best to keep on top of it. But let's face it, I'm not necessarily good at it. Let's get that out of the way. Operation, how are you? Glad you could join us. Oh, nice, Christine. Glad you found one. I tell you, mine, I'm surprised it's lasted as long as it has, considering the amount that I've thrown out. But I throw out way more into recycling than I ever did into garbage, as I ever do into garbage. Now, what do I got? Let's go through this to make sure it's organized. So, let's just take a look here. And we go. We've checked the office area itself. office, monitor, computer, desk, table, shelf, filing cabinet, top, and then I do require 5 shelves, 5 bookshelves on a corner shelf. All I'm doing at this point is literally just taking a tally on the number of different sections of my office that I require. So my left corner shelf has 5 shelves and a top. And then, and because of the amount that I'm working on here, let's just double check that before I add stuff. Monitor desk is clear. The computer desk is clear. The desk itself my one box, which will be rebuilt. But at this point, okay, so what I do there, don't want to cripple myself, but I do desire to get everything organized. So, do I got anything in Z? X, Y, Z. So we'll move Zora to here for the moment. That way I can put these, because I gotta start building them, but for the moment, I just desire my desk to be clear. When you're organizing, I will tell you, it's really nice to be able to look at it and go, okay, it's all organized. I desire it to be organized and what have you. But there are times when what you're going to find is that you've got to stop, put everything away, and get started again. And there is a rational reason for that. Because by doing that, you get to have a very clear picture of what you're building. So, whoop, eyeballs. Yeah, Philip, I could, but I don't have a hamster. You know, if I had a hamster, or for that matter, if I knew somebody that had a hamster, that would definitely work. Uh-oh. Glad you're back there, Christine. I've managed to get the top of my filing cabinet, the one right here, is now clear. Now what I've got to do there, for anybody that's interested, and I will once I piece them together. Uh-oh. Whoa. I managed, now what I've got to do, I've got 3 tomato boxes, as in huge, say, like big restaurant tomato boxes, full of old comics. I am going to be putting them up for grabs, but I'm not just turning them over for 25 cents a piece. We are talking about comics that some of them are literally worth, to a collector, they're worth something. I know one in particular was worth $450. And that was about 20 years ago. I don't know where it is right now. It's in one of the 3 boxes, but I'm going to start going through them and going, okay, these are available. If somebody desires them, then, I will sell them. It's just a question of finding the right person, because I'm not selling them for 25 cents a pop. Now what I'm doing though is, okay, I've got all that sorted. Now the desk is clear. Don't know what I'm doing with that. Really don't know what to do with that. So I'll have to figure that out. And this is a recipe, so I know where that goes. Okay, the desk is done. The table, which you keep seeing me move out, is clear. The shelf is clear. The filing cabinet is clear. And the top of it, filing cabinet is organized. The top is clear. Now, then we go to the left corner shelf. It's been organized. Next one down. What are those? That is. Now, I'm going to show you guys something, because most of you are tied up in the modern world. Okay. Yeah, isn't it though, Christine? I will tell you, that is what helps keep me organized. Now, most of you are working with the internet, looking for word suggestions and what have you. This particular book is so much faster than any book I've read, than anything on the internet. Okay. And I look for a book and I look in it, gives different words for different words that are similar, the whole 9 yards. And then tells me where to find them. And all I gotta do is I look in the back of this book and gives a whole list of all kinds of common words. Now, there's a lot of, I call them common. But get this. This was written back in when? There we are. This is literally the thesaurus I used when I was taking English in high school. Okay. And I have yet to find the internet as effective as this. Okay. In 1980, it had over 100,000 words in it. Okay. I still find it much more effective to track things down. Now granted, when you look at a dictionary, online for the definition of a word, it's great. The internet works beautifully. When you're looking for homonyms, synonyms, or similar words anyway, similar meaning, that book is way better than anything I've found on the net. Now, let me just see here. Where are we? We are at 419. So we've made a lot of headway today. Let's take a look at this now that I've done all of that. Now we go to the next shelf over. And again, it boils down to saying, okay, what can I work with? Well, this. Please tell me I did that right. Yep. So, this one here, that's the list I've been working on. So now I go back onto this and start the next step. See if anything came in here on my email. Okay. That's all stuff I can ignore. So we go back to there and let's take a look at Facebook. See if there's anything I have to know about. And yeah, I know a lot of people have a problem with Facebook. The reality is it works well for me. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Nope, nothing here that I go, oh, wait a minute, what's that? No. Don't even know if I know. I do not know who that is offhand. I had somebody that called me earlier today. I have no functional idea who they are, so I'm not going to worry about it too much. Yeah, I love this. They've got this neat little post on Facebook. We're going back to the moon, after 50 years. Well, it's a cute thought, except I happen to have seen way more than that. Tonight, 8:30 local time, millions will turn off their lights, not from fear, but because we love our home, our one home. Okay. Well, here's a post from Facebook, and I mean, it's a great picture, and I've seen this sort of thing before. But I'm just glancing at it. It says, man sets up a trail cam in his yard to spot deer, catches his cat leading a gang of raccoons instead. What is this? Okay, not going to worry about that because I'm just getting sidetracked, which I can do. Yeah. Okay, I'll worry about that afterwards. We'll just get off and we'll leave that alone and close that all down. That one is all the way down to that's May. I've got to look at March. March 28th. Yeah, down a little from what I'd like to be, but I've still got neat part about it with what I've done with minimal income and even less effort. I've managed to turn around and I've managed to take my entire outlook, my entire financial world, and turn it around. Okay, where I'm now operating in the black with a lot of room to work. Those cards are all done. Now, take that off for a second. Why do I keep doing that? I require being on this page here. There we are. Okay. Now, get the next stage done, which is over this side, just done ready, so I need over here to see that I'm right. Inventory shelf. Top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, now let's see what we can do. This book here is in it. That goes up front. Well, should not be wearing those glasses. Not while I'm walking around. Okay. This I hang on my door because that way, when I go to walk out, I can take it with me. And then here, these are cardboard trays. I'm going to put them there. They go out with me. As a matter of fact, I probably won't keep them in here. Now, matter of fact, I'm going to solve that problem right now. Give me half a second. I'll be right back. What? I can take it when I go next. When I close down. We're winding down here soon. I do believe I am now sitting at 15. No, about 25. I may end up closing it a little early. I don't know. It depends on how my brain works. But that has worked out rather well. So the office itself is actually very nicely dealt with. Hello, how you doing? Glad you could join us. Sorry, I was out of the room taking some stuff up front. Actually, in all fairness, I'm not really sorry about it. But let's see what we got here. So the physical office is completely rewired. Okay, now what is in that box there? That one is a recipe. Coconut, sugar, flour. Okay. See if I've got a spot in here. Oh, what am I doing? That goes up into the recipe bin. I'll sort them out when I get there. That book, don't know what I'm doing with it yet. That's strapped for writing. Okay, that works. Now let us see. We go File. And open. This is open. IVE Evolution. I do believe I wiped everything out there. Yep, got all that organized and all those go. That's okay. But let us see. Do believe that we are going to take a look at this. Single IVE, DAT, tally, gets paid in full, books. Those can all be removed because all of that data is so far out of whack, it doesn't matter anymore. But it will matter in the IVE folder, in the evolution folder. So, books can stay there. Keep that one back. Cameron. Okay. Wonder if this works. That does. I'm trying to do that. What do I have there? Don't have prices or anything there. That's always handy. Well, that's a good thing actually in this case. So we go from there to there. And delete all of those. And that says Danyon, but that's fine. And what I'm doing is looking at my files for what I actually am dealt with. And what was that? That was from 24. Take all of that. That was from back in 24. And then that was all dealt with, so that's okay. Don't know what I'm doing there, but go to seniors. I believe this has my son in it. Yeah. Dipstick. Okay. Okay, that solved that problem. That is still sitting there, which is good. $16.5. There we go. PC savings shareholder loan, but you got to bring that down. Okay. Debt load, E, senior, tally. Not worry about that. Okay, so we're good there. Well, it does look like I managed to get myself ahead of the game here. Oh, Philip. Sorry. No. Evolution of IV. Inner Voice Enterprises is my company. And I've actually got it laid out now where it's going to start actually becoming a going concern. Ultimately, when I opened it in 2007, I did it to handle my writing. But other than that, I wasn't doing much with it. And the reality is, the number of marketing companies I talked to that were professional, big name marketers that absolutely shafted me has encouraged me to develop my own way of looking at things. So what I'm now doing is Inner Voice is already listed as a publishing company. Okay. I just have to drop some contracts and get them taken to a lawyer to make certain that the contributing artists and or writers actually get the majority of the money. This idea that so many marketing companies have of, oh, we'll market your book, but we're taking 80% of the profit if we give you any at all, doesn't work for me. Okay, so I'm building one where I'm now starting to design contracts, and then I'll write them out the way I would like them. Now I'll go to a lawyer and go, okay, I need this made legal. Period. Okay, because there's so many of you out there that have a single story that you send to a lawyer for a short story, conglomeration. You send to a company, and the company writes you back and goes, it's not good enough. It's not long enough. It's got this wrong or that wrong. And they won't publish it, or they steal the idea outright. Okay. I'm done with this kind of behavior. Okay. So what I'm looking at is going, take a look at stories. Okay. Take a look at video. I watched somebody a number of years ago. Yeah. No doubt, Philip. They really are. Now, I kid you not, I will lay it out. So I do make money off of what I sell. But I'm not taking the rights away from anybody. Okay? I'm just not doing it. But I mean, we take a look at video. Okay? A number of years ago, they pitched a cartoon called Stick Men. This is not, well, I mean, it's artwork in its basic sense. But the thing ended up syndicated. So you can't tell me you have to be a good artist to sell something. You gotta be a good marketer. Okay. I knew a guy that literally took a white canvas, just a normal basic white canvas out of a hobby shop, painted it off white. We're talking a sheet that was 2 feet by 3 feet roughly. Painted it off white. Framed it in baseboard wood. Called it whiteout. And I kid you not, the guy sold it for $1 million. Okay. I mean, to me, this is not artwork. Okay. You take little poems like Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. Okay. They are gold. They're short and they are something that people should get. Now, I am putting together, and the only stipulation I'm going to have, and there might be a couple others, but it boils down to this. You send me a copy of your book, of the book you're aiming to deal with. You send me a letter stating it is your original work. Okay. And I'm not taking any in right now because I want to make certain that I've got the right percentages down. But I'm thinking of, and I will absolutely leave all other options open to you. I'm not going after a what the heck is it called? I forget what the word is. But I'm not going after total control. I'm simply looking at, okay, you've got a book, let's get it in print and see what happens. I'm not a heavy duty marketer. This is evidenced by the fact that I haven't got a lot of books, that I haven't got a lot of sales. And therefore, I will put it on my website, okay, and let people know it's there. But I'm going to be taking a share of the actual books I personally sell. It's funny, Philip. I figured that. Yeah, no offense to the Lions. The funny part is, I figured out how to do it. Let me ask you, Philip, what is the number one method of marketing across the board? It has always been this way, just to give you a hint. Okay. I mean, I'm looking at this and I know people have been trying to figure out how to do it. It's actually not that hard. Okay. My problem is I didn't have the drive. I had the motivation. I didn't have the drive or the self confidence. I turned around and went, guys, you say you're a professional marketer, you deal with it. I'm done playing that game. Okay, I really am. Oh, okay. Let me make a note of that since I'm working on that. Let's just see if we can pop that up. A website called Find Help. So let's pipe that in right now. Find Help. 211 connects people to sport when they need help. Okay. I appreciate that, and I've got that here. I've just popped that up. Yes, word of mouth is by a staggering stretch is the number one method of marketing. Now, here's the follow-up question. Do you know of any company that actually pays for word of mouth advertising? You know, this is kind of a pop quiz. I already know the answer. Okay, at least as far as I've found. But what I did discover was, like I taught, here we are. It's incredible how the most basic, simplistic art can make that individual quite rich. No doubt. Yo, I mean, I see these people, they carry buckets of paint and they throw it against the wall and they call it modern art. And I'm looking at it going, like, I met an artist. She said she was a terrible artist. Okay. She said she was a terrible artist, but and as such, she only had 2 clients that she would paint for, and only by request. You'll love this. This is a terrible artist. She only painted by request for National Geographic and Ducks Unlimited. Now, I will tell you, Philip. I mean, I'm glad it's good for nonprofit and such. I will tell you, I do this stream for free. Okay, I do positive perceptions for free, and I do positive perspectives, the magazine, which yes, I've fallen behind on. I do it for free. Okay, but my company is absolutely not nonprofit. Inner Voice Enterprises is targeting making a living, and I've got a minimum set already. Once I hit a company income of 2,500 a month, okay, then I start turning the lion's share of the net profit over to the world, okay, over to people that have helped, you know. But I'm a firm believer that nonprofit. I mean, you take a look at nonprofit. They say we're nonprofit. What they don't tell you in most cases, and yes, I have looked into it, which is why I don't donate to them on the whole. They will take a chunk, not a little bit, but a chunk of your donation to pay their administration. Okay, now I will be setting up a charity at some point, but guaranteed 100% of the donations that come in will go to the charity. Because the fact of the matter is, the profit I make from book sales and consulting will fund it. Oh yeah, some clothing companies absolutely will, and I have no problem with people doing that. I don't have a problem with nonprofit organizations themselves. I just have a problem with people that go, "Oh, I open up a charity to this company, to this situation. Send your money," and then they take the majority of the donation into their own pocket. I have a problem with that. So I've got some pretty big plans for what I'm aiming at doing down the road. But that one box that I'm bringing back on track, I already moved it and moved everything off my desk so I can work. But now my desk is completely cleared. Okay, as a matter of fact, my whole office is now organized. I've even got things like I've got some stuff I've got put up that is for Christmas gifts this year. Yeah, I know there's a lot of nonprofits out there. I haven't done a lot of looking into it. I got burned so often by professional companies that I've ended up really getting kind of personally a little jaded. Well, no, a lot jaded. But with what I've been doing, and let's just see if anything came in here. Oh, over there. What is that? And that goes all the way back to where? 2024. Yeah. February 12th, 2024 was when I opened the. Well, There we are. February 14th of 2024 was when I actually opened Buy Me a Coffee. Hey, whole pile of things from back in 21. I gotta go through those files, that's for certain. But where are we? I will. Well, now that I've got the site there, Philip, I will. I do appreciate it. I will go and see what I can find. See if I can get things moving in the right place. Ah, did I take the thing? Let's go to this one. Here we go. Next, social care, home services. Yeah, gonna have to take a look in that. I will once I'm off air here. I will certainly take a look at it. I do appreciate the help there, Philip. The reality is, me and Tech don't get along at the best of times. Well, at the best of times, I guess we do. But now that I've been here babbling for a while, where I did get what I set out to do when I said, when I opened the door and said, "This is me building the empire." Today, I have cleared out all of my shelves. They're all reorganized, all dedicated, and my desk is 100% clear of anything that isn't functional. With that in mind, I really want to say thank you to those of you that dropped in and those of you that are still here. Really appreciate your support. And where am I here? I've got to go to this. Tonight, in about 3 hours, okay, this is the 28th. We are going to be looking at black holes and wormholes. Okay, the difference in the use of both. Okay, that's tonight on Positive Perceptions. Okay, right here, you'll find me. Okay, with that in mind, I definitely want to say thanks so very much for sharing your time with me today. Really appreciate it. I will be back again. Okay, but tonight we quit doing that. Tonight we look at black holes and wormholes. Tomorrow, on Sunday, okay, on Vision Quest, we're going to look at what is success. Then we're going to turn around on Monday, which is now Monetary Monday. We're going to look at tracking versus budget. And on Tuesday, which is now called Transformative Tuesdays, we're going to look at the importance of a creative view. With all of this in mind, I do thank you so much for sharing your time with me today. Really appreciate it. Do look forward to seeing you again in the very near future. Eternity, I'm glad you could join us. I presume you've been hiding in the back. Okay, but really happy to see you here. Now, with that in mind, I do look forward to all of that. Until we talk again, do take care of yourselves and each other, and for pity's sakes, stay positive.